G'day, Dan here. So, had a meeting this morning, just reminded me of some things. I've done some interviews and I'll probably have to record it to get it off an older channel that I no longer have access to. But long story short, for those that aren't aware, I've sold properties online, used to have an investment company. I've touched on it a little bit. And I sort of realised as I got involved with a few groups and more around the cooperative sort of nature of things that basically what I'm about to show you could be used to solve a lot of housing issues. I mean, here in Australia, we've got so much land and we've still got people coming into where I've been helping out asking for tents to stay in. Shouldn't be the case. And there's been so much wasted money. Long story short, I've met with David Hunt, who's the operations, maybe CEO now of Archistar over 7 years, I think the relationship's been. And these guys now, they do data for I think a lot of places around the world now, but this particular software was initially built for the Australian property market. So just to give context, what we will be doing for our own community and development and to showcase how a lot of our online platform and community stuff connects to physical location and events and creativity, culture, all of it, is doing a physical development. Built a virtual city before. That was part of the call earlier. That same thing will be built for real at some point. Now, basically, in terms of a cooperative, which is a group of people coming together, and there's some legalities. I'm doing this for education, not giving advice. But basically, this software here connected to all the major data sources, right? You can find suitable sites. Now, a block like this might not be suitable, but a big green field, like open bit of land, same scenario to do the feasibility. I've done the documentation. We'll get a bit more streamlined very soon with it. Because basically, to take a backpedal a second, is the surplus of, abundance that I see from what is getting built here. From a personal point of view, the overflow can go into development, shelter, right? Shelter, sustainable food, family and creativity is my jam and purpose meshed into one. So finding suitable sites, then having the administration, no matter where you are in the world, to be able to get a group of people together to buy that, to manage the admin in an easy format. So Archistar, for example, does the feasibility. It's connected here in Australia to the council's data, so you know what you can get approved for if you were to do a development in this case. Where you need the offsets from the curb and all the compliance stuff, right? And then it does the 3D generative designs or the designs of the homes that you want on it. Now, what I was showing is that this printer here, again, with the surplus of capital, can be put into and bought. Got a quote up, not from Icon, but from Apis Core. This was going back 2018 for 180 grand. It's a bit more expensive now with all the add-ons. And this was, again, older quote, so don't quote me on this, literally. But this was a personalised quote I got, looking into this. And then there's the materials to go into it, which is a previous interview I did with hemp, industrial hemp, and how Hemprete can go into it. And I know Apis Core can put that sludge into the printers. So if you have a problem with housing, why don't you all get together and focus on this impact business of yours, or the guidance that we're releasing, get together a working group in the areas of your backstories, the monetisation that can come from that, but then ultimately solve the problem with housing in your local area. Do it grassroots. It hasn't been solved here in Australia from the people that run the country. So, we got to do it ourselves in some respect. Now, you can get this printer, like I say, and all the different houses that you possibly could want. Then you pick out your design. So the 3D design, you save those files and it goes on the 3D piece of land. And the feasibility is all done. So in terms of the land, the administration, the civils, moving the dirt around to do the development, is all done into the feasibility. The money can be put down in stages. So, and ultimately all that 3D stuff ends up becoming like the videos, I've got it on our YouTube, so I won't go into it now, but you'll see the virtual city, how it's high fidelity fly through of the mall and the city centre and all that stuff. So you get that promotional material to, if you haven't got the amount of people for the cooperative, to be able to market it, to reach people that maybe want to downsize if they're retirees, or, first home buyers, whatever it might be. So ultimately, all these different designs, when they load, and this icon I know, and I have this one here, this, you see the date, 2018, was done then for under 10,000, small 2-bedroom home. It's better than a tent. So, ultimately, to have this built, and the printer that done this at this particular time is on train tracks. Print one, move on, print the next one, 10 grand each. So if you can't afford that, there's something wrong. Why haven't that been done? Well, it does affect sort of some groups that have monopolies and control over some of the housing and building and blah, blah, blah. I won't go into that. But just giving you the reality of the scenario, and this is taking a sec to load, might be my connection or whatnot, but all the different designs that you want, when you see the designs popping up on here, are stored, can be going. They might be different sizes, because on this you've got the different sizes. Where is it? I'm taking a sec to load. There we go. All the different sizes, those designs, the cost to print them with the materials, go on to there and you save things. Then you go and, when you do the feasibility, it's all done. And like I say, the marketing systems, when you consider the digital agency with what we've got, it's not just for your backstory and your knowledge business and for whatever project and all that you see that I'm talking about. Those marketing systems can be used the same for cooperative. So at the end of the day, whether it's a printer like this that's bought, that's shared use as part of that cooperative, and then once your houses are built, you can make it available to other groups and, have this as a usable system moving forward for your own community development. So, yeah, there it is. You've got the links you should have seen as I've been going through. I just wanted to do a quick video in terms of shedding some light on some of the opportunities you've got in terms of having impact. So this will be something, I'll be personally pursuing and doing. Got a couple of contacts in that area, well aware of the sales sort of marketing process and, finance. I've, got a background in that as well, amongst the other things you've seen me talking about. And the tools are there, the relationships there. You'll see the interview I've done. I'll repost that, what I've done with Darkstar in the past, with Dave and a few other people. Not so keen on the IoT and the smart sort of houses being overdone and infiltrated sort of, anyway. But, and also the other thing with these square design houses, if you actually have a look, these circular houses energetically are better for you to be, from a feng shui scenario, better for you to inhabit instead of the squares that your frequencies and that's bouncing off. But anyway, won't go too into that. Just wanted to show you a bit of an idea of sort of what the potential is if you choose to have an impact in a shelter or housing area. So as one of the areas, what's possible. So, yeah, I'll leave that there. If you've got questions, if you're in the game of property and whatnot, or interested in having an impact and helping solve the issue of affordable housing and homelessness, etc., then reach out. Let's talk. Bye-bye.